This is the city of Wittenberg in Germany. Let's go back to the early 16th century. At this time, Wittenberg is still part of the Holy Roman Empire, and here lives a monk named Martin Luther. Martin Luther lives a simple life, fasts, prays, and reads the Bible. But he's angry with a really powerful person, the Pope. The Pope is the highest-ranking person in the Church, and that's no small thing at this time. Only God is more powerful. The Pope and his bishops scare people. If you don't do what the Bible says, you will end up in hell. But themselves, they live a luxurious life. That's not what the Bible says, right? So Martin Luther wants to protest against the Pope and against his interpretation of the religion. Meanwhile, the Pope is building a new church in Rome, St. Peter's Basilica. Even though the Pope is rich, he demands that it's the people, the believers, who should pay for the new church. One of the ways that the Pope and the bishops have been making money is by selling these things. These documents are called Indulgences, and they give forgiveness, freeing the buyer from their sins. Those who buy these indulgences no longer need to fear ending up in hell after death. Martin Luther definitely thinks that the religion is going wrong. He thinks that Christianity isn't supposed to favor the rich and powerful, it's supposed to help the poor. Luther writes down everything he thinks is wrong with the Church. This text from 1517 consists of 95 different points, or theses. The Pope can't forgive anyone's sins, he can't pardon anyone, not even by selling indulgences. Poor Christians should save their money instead of wasting them on indulgences. And if the Pope wants his St. Peter's Basilica, he can pay for it himself. And now you want to nail these theses to the church door like a notice board? Well, it's not certain if you actually do that. But this is what the history books are going to say about you. In 1517, Martin Luther nailed his 95 theses to the church door in Wittenberg. That's the story people will tell. The Pope really doesn't like this. Of course the people should pay for my amazing church. Martin Luther is therefore summoned to the city of Worms. Here, the Pope demands that Luther takes back, that he recants at least half of his theses. Martin Luther refuses and says it's the Pope who's wrong. The Pope really doesn't like that and says, if you're going to criticize the Church like this, you're out. The Pope kicks Martin Luther out of the Church. He excommunicates him. So what do you plan to do now? Translate the Bible. That's a good idea. At this time, the Bible is only translated into Latin, so most people can't even read it. Books are also written by hand, so they are really rare. But at the same time as Martin Luther is translating the Bible, someone else is inventing the printing press. And all of a sudden, you can print books. Now, a lot more people can read the Bible in their own language and understand what it really says. You're not so angry anymore, right? Well, your ideas have become so popular that many around Europe also want the Church to change, to be reformed. This is why this period is called the Reformation. And your protest will lead to a whole new branch of Christianity. And because it starts with your protest, it'll be called Protestantism.